the role of net support communities. So please welcome Sierra Vilmar.
Thank you. Do I have a clicker? Okay.
Yep, the big one is to go forward.
Okay.
And you aim
And I
it
have
that
to
way.
aim it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Welcome. Can we give a round of applause for everybody who's spoken today? I was late to the party, but I feel very fortunate, and I feel like I'm looking out at my family right now in a lot of ways. My work family, my patient family. So I'm really honored to be here today. So definitely going to piggyback on the last presentation a little bit, but we're going to go a little deeper. So you heard from a lot of doctors talking about lots of treatment today, lots of pictures of guts and cool stuff like that. But I want to talk about kind of the heart of the matter, and truly the heart of the matter is, what goes on in here and in here when you're going through your diagnosis, because that's really important. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think that that's really important for people who have been diagnosed with cancer, and it's okay that we say cancer, okay? All right. I have no disclosures. So we're going to talk about empowering, being your own advocate, but like she said, a lot of people here I know are from locally, but I can see people from Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Arizona. I met somebody from Kansas. So it's you guys are the glue when we're putting together multiple institutions. So I hope to teach you guys some tools to help that happen. Some community networks that you can plug into. The biggest thing I'm going to focus on is resilience training, and it's not just resilience of body, but it's resilience of mind too. Because a lot of people, from diagnosis to treatment to planning, you have to be able to do a lot of positive self-talk, and then understanding the role of palliative medicine. Okay, so you are not alone. I'm sure you've seen a similar slide like this today. So, on average, 12,000 people are diagnosed with a neuroendocrine tumor on a yearly basis. And as of 23, 171,000 people are living with this diagnosis. So you can look to your friend or your neighbor, and they probably, in the last many years, have been diagnosed with this. And then also, half the people, when they go to diagnosis, are diagnosed at an advanced stage. So just like Mary Ann's journey, not being misdiagnosed for many years, having symptoms, and then it's stage 4, and that's really scary stuff. So you are not alone if that is you. And then to go about that, you've been diagnosed, you've got a scary diagnosis, so who all is going to be on board for you? And so the center is you, always you, okay? So you are the core, and we are all just the supporting network for you. And then a lot of people in this room today, I'm just clicker happy, there we go. So a lot of people in this room today I'm not going to gloss over caregivers, because caregivers are going through this journey too. It's extremely important to know that the spouses, the siblings, the parents, that they are on this journey, okay? And they feel what you feel, not entirely, but they feel what you feel too, and they're the ones at the appointments. And then comes us. So you've seen some of your doctors today, advanced practice providers, nurses, medical assistants, the people who give you your shots every month, every 28 days, they're part of your team too. And medical oncologists as well. So like I said, this is all about bridging everyone together. This is, as you can see, we're just layering and layering and layering all the people on this journey with you. Okay, and then we go further. We have people who read your scans, right? Every 3 to 6 months to annually, people reading your scans, going into procedures to target things in the liver, target things in the spine. Those are part of our team too. People like Danielle, who are the dietitians, helping us grow and thrive in nutrition. So this is a pretty big team, right? Everybody's working, but at the center of all of that is you. So how do we connect all those dots? Okay, how do we connect the medical oncologist with the surgical oncologist, with the nurse? The center, that's you. You're gonna help connect all those dots. So my husband gave me a really hard time about this slide. He said, this is just so elementary, Sierra. I mean, the telephone game, that's like when you're little. And I said, yeah, I know. And I explained it to him. I said, you know, when you're working with different institutions all over the country, it is kind of like the telephone game. Things are lost in translation. Okay. Things are lost in translation, right? I mean, you're talking to this person and that person. I know that I'm looking at a lot of our staff too, where you're not getting the information because communication is lost. And he said, wow, you say it that way. That's true. And that goes for people with cancer diagnoses and not. But when you have a cancer diagnosis, you want everybody to be on the same page, right? We want everybody to be in line. But how do we make that happen? So let's talk about that. Okay, so you're the one who's going to take charge. So I'm trying to send home a point. You are your advocate. Obtain your discs. Ask for your lab results. Ask for visit summaries before you leave to go back home. Keep a folder with appointment encounters. I have a really special lady in here. She's had this diagnosis for many years, and she has a big notebook. And she actually has graphed her labs over time. And when she comes in, we get to see it. And do you know how cool that is? It's pretty cool. And I'm not saying everybody has to do that, but that's what works for her. And that's what makes her feel good. And as her providers, we want her to have that. And then the last one is really important. So especially if you're coming in to see a surgeon for the first time, and they say, okay, when were you diagnosed? And you say, oh, I don't know. You know, try to record those dates if you have those. That's really important information in any part of your journey, especially, you know, if you were to end up in the hospital by chance, knowing those things is going to help people care for you at the best of their ability. So this is going to go into us talking about resilience, but I can be changed by what happens to me, but I refuse to be reduced by it. I think that's really, really important when you've been given a cancer diagnosis. So I just want everybody to just take a second. You can close your eyes or not, but I think that we need to be able to say, I have cancer, and I'm living with cancer, but I will not be reduced by it, and I will not let it define me, okay? It will not define your life. So let's talk about how we're gonna use tools to do that. So there's a lot of burdens of being a NET patient, and we talk a lot, and we talked about those serotonin and bradykinin hormones that make us feel kind of yucky, but I have the distinct pleasure of knowing a lot of people in this room, and just like the zebra represents this cancer, every single person has their own set of symptoms physically. And so some people have diarrhea, some people have the opposite problem, right? So they have constipation, some people have flushing, some people, when their serotonin gets up, they have severe headaches. And how do we care for those headaches? Abdominal pain. So those are all physical, but the send home today that I hope you walk away with is understanding how to treat and help those emotional burdens too, because there is anxiety when you've been given this diagnosis. There's anxiety when you go into your PET scan, right, into your MRI. What is that scan going to show? Is it going to show something different? Is it going to show the same? And then fear creeps in, right? And so how do we try to change the narrative within us You know, how are we going to change the narrative? And we're going to talk about that. And then financial burdens too. There's a big aspect of this. You know, you are getting that big shot. Some of our patients are getting that big shot every 28 days. It's not cheap. And a lot of people with insurance things doesn't cover this, that, or the other, but you need to do that, right? So that's a PET scans, hospital stays, lodging, specialty diets. Those are all money, right? So no, financial burdens is another thing to tackle. but hopefully if we can do some resilient stuff, we can kind of overcome that as well. So I asked a large majority of our patients, what's the strongest area related to the burden of your disease that you would like addressed by us, your caregivers and your providers? And it was 67% of people said the emotional burden of the disease, that creeping fear, that anxiety, that depression is what affects me, right? You've heard from Marianne, somebody who's lived with this disease a long, long, long time, that we have the tools in our toolbox, like Dr. Maluccio says, to take care of different aspects. But what about all the emotional stuff as well? And then physical and then financial fell behind. But let's talk about what we do about the emotional burden. So resilience training has been studied in a lot of different forms of cancer. And hopefully there will be emerging data in the next years about neuroendocrine. But resilience training is, like I said, it's redirecting the narrative. It's teaching us how to focus on the better parts of life, adapt to tough events, to changes. I know some people have had to be hospitalized unexpectedly. So how do we deal with that? And so we're going to talk about some mindfulness, ways to strengthen those emotional centers of our brain. How do I go back? There we go. I got clicker happy, sorry. Okay. So I'll just kind of feed. The last slide had a bunch of pictures and it had a bunch of things that we can do, because I think that we can get we can deep dive so deep on the Facebooks and on the Dr. Googles that we forget that we have this diagnosis, we're living with it, there's nothing we can do about it. You have providers who are helping you take care of it. So we take all that aside. I told a patient the other day, I told his wife, I said, you worry about you and we'll worry about him, the patient. And that's really true. So positive mindset. So having manifestations and kind of mantras, looking in the mirror each day and saying that this is going to be a good day. I might have some diarrhea today, but it's going to be a good day. I'm a warrior. I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong man, and I can overcome. And then doing breathing exercises, meditation. Setting a positive goal for the day and set reminders, if it be on your phone, if it be, hey, can you remind me, tell your spouse, your child, hey, can you remind me to laugh, to smile, to do these things? And I think that a lot of our patients are good about that, but I think that we forget it because we get hit with life, right? We hit not just, having cancer, but other things in life. So try to take that time for you. And then just fun stuff. If you are a musician, I know we have musicians and artists in the room, trying to get out, exercise. And if there's limitations to why you can't do that, then that's our problem, right? We need to help you be able to do all that stuff, to be able to go out and hike and garden and do the things that you want to do, that can give you a positive frame of mind. Alrighty, so obviously, hopefully, like everybody did, turn and say hello to their neighbor. But NCAN, when I first entered this position, I went to NCAN in Atlanta, and I was pretty blown away by the patients and the support and the fact that you do have a community. But as you can see up here, you have other ways to connect besides Facebook, besides chat groups. I did some research looking into this, and so there is a lot of different foundations that are looking for different research opportunities. But like the last one here, Walking with Jane, is about a patient who passed away from neuroendocrine, and her family does walks to help gain awareness. So it's little things like that. If you bring that into your community you feel willing and able to share your story, I think that it's going to be a powerful one. And I like Mary Ann's tenacity about get out there, wear your shirt, share your story. I cannot say that because I don't have neuroendocrine cancer, but I would love to hold your hand while you share that story, because I think it's really powerful and it's going to impact people if they have cancer, if they don't have cancer. It's pretty powerful stuff. Oop. Okay, and so just a little bit, I don't know if they've spoken, and I came in late to the party, but there are other neuroendocrine tumors called pheochromocytoma and paragangliomas, and there's people in this room living with that as well, and those harbor their own symptoms, completely and separate and different from carcinoid. And so there's a PPA, which is an alliance network, that is a nonprofit that is there to empower and teach patients living with that diagnosis as well. So I just wanted to give a plug about that, and then hopefully we'll hear from one of those patients in our panel. So palliative medicine. Palliative medicine is strong. I know some people in this room has had some palliative medicine experiences and not. I was a critical care nurse for many years before I became a nurse practitioner. I'm really passionate about palliative medicine because at the end of the day, at some point in all of our lives, we will experience pain and we will have to transition at some point. And so I think it's good to talk about it and be aware about it. So this is kind of for you to better understand what's hospice and what's palliative care, because palliative care is not hospice, okay? They are separate and unique, okay? So a lot of people living at different stages of this disease have debilitating disease and do require symptoms in treatment and pain management. And so palliative care can cover all of that. And a lot of insurance companies and institutions like our own and others across the country are trying to make palliative care, a more transparent thing, and not to be and to not fear it. And then hospice is something that we. Maybe some of us have personal experiences. I know some people have had family members who have had that and have had negative experiences, or some people, had the best experience ever. I'll talk about one of our patients in a second, but it's got a bad rap, and it shouldn't. So I just want us to talk about that a little bit as well. So Del Rivera, she's a professor, but a lot of people who have neuroendocrine, their caregivers and them said, I wish I had done this sooner when they hit that stage in their disease. And many studies show early initiation actually helps with symptom control and improves quality of life significantly. And then, NET patients are really unique, right? Because a lot of us do need to do our shots every month. And there's a lot of kind of controversial data about is that considered hospice or not, but when we're palliating symptoms and we're improving, helping quality of life, a lot of insurance companies are getting with the program and understanding that that's part of it. And I think that will continue to happen as we get the word out, right? We share about this disease. So this is a patient, his wife allowed me to post this. This is one of our patients. He passed away from neuroendocrine cancer. He was a really strong person, strong man, and did do different elements of, to deal with this disease. Did radiation, did chemo, did a lot of different things, and then diagnosed in 2017, was in and out of the hospital a lot the last 6 months of his life, and he was just kind of tired of it. He was kind of tired of the emergency rooms and the hospitals, and he just wanted to be at home in his environment with his family and his loved ones, and he got that. And I talked to his wife for a while, and she said that the best part about it was, that the 24-hour on call took away a lot of the stress that we felt, because his symptoms and his needs could be met then and there, and he was in peace. And so I think that's important for us to realize, not just for ourselves, but our caregivers, for our grandmothers, our grandfathers, anybody who may hit this stage of their life, just to remember that it does show early initiation is recommended. So, a little picture of some of our team, so take the team approach, okay? So like I said, with the telephone game, don't let things get lost in translation. So take your discs, take your records, take your visit summaries, do your graphs or pie charts if that's your desire. And make sure everybody is on the same page. That's extremely important. So unlock the key to resilience for you, and that looks different from the person next to you. So if you are an artist and need that time, carve out that time for you. If you're a musician, take that opportunity to play. Get connected and thrive. So you saw a bunch of the networks here, and I will piggyback. Mary Ann made a really good point. Just look at the person next to you. Get their phone number. That is going to be your buddy on this journey if you want it to be. And if you don't want it to be, that's okay. But I think that is a very powerful thing when you get a lot of people in the room together with a certain diagnosis. So I hope that you share that, and then embrace your journey beginning to end, whatever that looks like for you. We will be here along the way, and we will support you. So this is a couple of pictures of our team. From the physicians to the nurses to the intake coordinators, we are here for you and we hear you. Thank you very much.